All right, guys, so I'm just going to quickly clarify what you're seeing right now. So, I finally was able to upload episode 5 of the Unnamed Podcast today. Now, it was going to be on YouTube originally Saturday, but I didn't have time to export it from Adobe and get it up. And I tried it, and I was originally going to do it with the video portion that I filmed, but every time I tried to do it through Adobe, it would take like 2.5 hours, which I didn't have time for. So, what I decided to do, just so I could get it out in chronological order for when I upload the 6th episode on Thursday, was just do pretty much an audio-only version for YouTube as well. So what you're seeing is basically just audio with the logo of the podcast on the screen. So, yes, I did film a video portion with this, but it would have taken too long to export and encode out of Adobe Premiere, so I just decided to go the quicker route and throw up the logo so you guys would have something to look at while making most of it just audio. So I hope you guys enjoy this audio-only episode, but don't worry, episode 6 will be video as well for you guys on YouTube. For you people here on YouTube, it will be video as well for episode 6. I will get it done in time. So, hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you all for episode 6. Bye, guys. All right, guys, so before this episode of the podcast starts, I wanted to say apologies for not getting this out yesterday, Thursday, but I had some stuff come up in the middle of recording this episode, so I didn't get a chance to finish recording on Thursday and edit it and upload it on Thursday. So I'm going to upload it today, which is Friday. And if you guys notice the lack of a windscreen on my microphone, in the 2 or 3 days I've been working on this podcast episode, my cats chewed up my windscreen. So I had to go buy a new one. So that's just what I decided to do for this episode is I usually edit most of these episodes down a good bit to edit out all of the long, awkward pauses and me trying to think of shit to say and weird things like that. But since these are so long, therefore they take a very, 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 very long time to edit, I decided I was going to edit this as minimally as I could, meaning there are parts that I edited, hopefully seamlessly so you guys can't tell, and there are parts where I didn't edit anything at all. And I'll usually edit it to censor out most of the more hardcore curse words. But I might just forgo that for this episode because I'm already late in posting it anyway. And I'm afraid I may not get it done even by today because it's so long. So I decided just to minimally edit it. So it's more or less a half edited, half unedited episode. So yeah, but regardless, hope you guys like this episode. If you do, all of you on SoundCloud can give the episode a like. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this episode. Bye, guys. right, guys, so welcome to the Unnamed Podcast, Episode 5. Yes, this is Episode 5 of the Unnamed Podcast, and for today's episode, I figured I'd do a bit of a more touchy subject, but since my last few podcasts have been slightly serious, I wanted to do it in a way that will be funny at times, but that I want to be frank about. And that is the subject of religion. Did you guys just hear that? That sounded like just a bunch of little clicks. Oh wait, that's the sound of probably about 1 billion people immediately clicking off this video once they heard me say religion. Just 1 million clicks. That's what that sound is. Seriously, I know that's a very touchy subject and a subject that most people try to avoid, but I wanted to do this in a way where I give my own opinions on religion and the problems that I see about religion and the reasons that I think people tend to not want to talk about religion. So, as I don't think I've mentioned this in previous videos, I myself am, I'll just go ahead and say I am religious, specifically Christian, but I'm not religious in the sense that I'm the go to church every day, like everything's got to be done by the book. Matter of fact, I must be honest, I haven't read a Bible in 2 years. And I don't actually read the Bible at all, really. And once... there's that sound again. This one sounded like angry chanting. But, yes. So, I'm more of I guess what I would consider myself is... So, I would consider myself... I believe there is a God. I believe a God exists. But I'm not the biggest fan of churches. Not from personal experience, because actually all of the church experiences I've had were pretty much good ones, for the most part. But I feel as though churches tend, and of course, obviously I'm not saying all of them, obviously, but there are obviously churches that I would say preach the wrong kind of messages, and more so, obviously, as a lot of people probably can figure from the videos on YouTube and just their own experiences. And one of the reasons why a lot of people have no respect for churches are that there are quite a few that take certain passages from the Bible, certain verses from the Bible, and sort of spin them into their own up versions of Bible verses. And for example, one that even a lot of you people might have, even a lot of people who aren't religious may have heard of, especially this one, is I don't have my phone on me. Okay, so I don't have my phone on me right now because it's over there charging. So I can't look up the actual verse. And I forgot exactly where in Leviticus it is. But when I said Leviticus, you can all probably figure that I'm talking about the man shall not lie, or if man shall lie with another man, they will surely be put to death verse. Once again, I don't know what specific verse in Leviticus that is. Like I said, I haven't read a Bible in quite a long time. But I'm sure most everyone knows that verse. Unfortunately, because of what a lot of religious people have spun it to actually mean. Or what a lot of religious people have done, which is, unfortunately, think it should be taken literally. And by that I mean there are people out there, because I have seen videos, pastors or religious people in general, who believe that specific verse should be taken literally. Which is because I don't think people actually understand what that verse is saying. So just for some little history, the Bible, which this shows you how long it's been since I've actually read a Bible. I believe Leviticus is in the Old Testament. I think it's the Old Testament. Or it might be the New Testament. I can't remember because, like I said, I haven't read a Bible in ages. All the religious people are currently clicking off this video, and all the religious people all the crazy religious people, all of the crazy wacko religious people are now clicking off this SoundCloud track, and all of the crazy Bible thumping people on YouTube are now going to leave me horrible messages. But yeah. So I don't know which book it's in. I'm not sure if it's I can't remember if it's the New Testament or the Old Testament. But I believe it is the Old Testament. Because I think it's more of a middle book of the Bible. I can't remember. But for backstory, the Bible was written, or at least the Old Testament was written, and the Bible as a whole, I think, was written roughly the Old Testament specific, I believe it's in the Old Testament. I believe the Old Testament was written roughly 2,500 years ago. I want to 3,500 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. That's something I especially don't remember. I couldn't tell you when both books of the Bible were written. I believe the Old Testament was 3,500, 2,500, something like that. Before 1 AD, I believe. But anyway, so yeah, I'll do it in the short version. So a little backstory for people who don't know, and I'll have this a bit watered down. The Bible was written roughly back when Egypt was a kingdom, back when they would bury people in pyramids and pharaohs were in charge. Ancient Egypt, basically. That's how I'll put it. And if you have ever seen Egypt on a map, you know where Egypt is. And it is very, I believe, next to the, Egypt is to the west of Israel, which something else most people know, regardless of if you're religious or not. So, yeah. So, if any of you people don't know, back in ancient Egypt and all of those ancient kingdom times, they would kill you for literally anything. And the term LGBTQ and gay rights and same-sex marriage rights and things like that wouldn't exist for another 1,995 years, roughly. So if you were gay, they would fucking kill you. That's the shortened version of what I'll say. So that's where that verse comes from. It was written in a time where if you banged another dude or banged another woman, they'd tie you up to they would actually probably stone you. Because I don't know how far back that method of of death goes, but it is the Middle East, so I'm quite sure they would probably stone you, or spear you to death, or stab you to death, or cut your head off with a sword, or some other horrible, horrible method of execution. But, yes. So, and I think that's why, and nowadays, when the people who want to take that literally, whether they mean it or not, it doesn't matter. Killing someone because they're gay is fucked up and wrong. Nowadays, that's considered murder. And as a example, some people might know, I'll give the example of Pastor Steven Anderson of, what's the name of the church? Some kind of church in Tempe, Arizona. And I'm not afraid to say his name because I don't give a fuck who sees this or not. I'm doing an entire episode talking about religion. At this point, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. Obviously. So yes, Steven Anderson of something church in Tempe, Arizona, who could possibly be well known, I don't know, but is known for his, how shall I put this, very crazy and fucked up and insane views. So I've seen a few news videos done on him. And Pastor Steven Anderson is a fucking nutcase. If he actually believes what he said, the shit he says. So, for example, Steven Anderson did a sermon, which I don't call it a sermon. I watched the entire video of it, and that wasn't no damn sermon. That was a very clearly anti-homophobic rant. And not even the kind of anti-homophobic. Yeah, that was basically a homophobic rant. 2 hour long fucking however the fuck long it was, homophobic rant. all that entire sermon, that was no damn sermon. That was a homophobic rant, like 1 to 2 hour homophobic rant, which I'll get to that in a minute. But Steven Anderson, in that particular sermon, he started going on blah blah normal homophobic stuff, and then it's as if the man just went ape shit. Said all of this stuff, blah 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 blah. I hate homosexuality, blah blah blah. It's evil, it's horrible, evil, abomination, which he used probably between 4 to half a dozen times throughout that entire video. And the part that pissed me off the most, or one of the many parts that pissed me off the most, was when Anderson says something to the effect of, as long as I am pastor of this church, how was it? As long as I am pastor of this church, no homo person will step foot in this church. And that's exactly how he sounds. Pastor Steven Anderson, no offense to, I don't know. I was going to make a joke just now about the way Steven Anderson talks, but I felt like it was kind of distasteful and making fun of the stereotypical gay person. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Pastor Steven Anderson sounds a bit effeminate in the tone his voice has. No offense to anyone who talks like that. I'm making fun of Steven Anderson because he's a fucking dickhead. That's exactly how Steven Anderson sounds. Yeah, something along those lines, that as long as he was pastor of his church, no gay person would ever he would not let a gay person set foot in the church. And what was the other one? There were some other ones, but I can't quite remember those offhand. So that was that one. And then there was another video I saw of him where he basically tells his congregation that if their son or daughter ever acts like they're gay or comes out as gay, he basically tells his congregation to fucking beat them. Like, I'm not kidding. You can look up the video. It's on YouTube. Or it might be Vimeo, one of the two. You can look up all these videos, just type in Steven Anderson on YouTube, and you'll find out what I'm talking about. Trust me, it's on there. I think you might find I think he has a YouTube channel where he posts his sermons or some shit. But there was so that one, that's child abuse, motherfucker. You can't do that. And other crazy things. Then there was one he did last year, or the one he did in 2015. Again, these were all in 2015, most of them. No surprise there. And the first few videos I'm talking about, look them up. They were done after the, Hodges versus Oberfeld, the Supreme Court thing that legalized gay marriage in the U.S., here in the U.S., after June 26th. That whole, where they legalized gay marriage for the entire U.S., that whole thing which is no surprise there. There was a lot of people who went ballistic. And then he did another one a few months later on the Paris attacks, where regardless of whether he was being serious or faking all of that, it was still very, very fucked up. Where he basically insults the 140 people who were killed in the Paris attacks. During that sermon, the man puts up a completely wrong picture of the band that was playing at the Bataclan Theater. What was the name of the band? Eagles of Death Metal were the ones playing at the Bataclan Theater during the Paris attacks. Puts up a completely wrong picture. Matter of fact, I think it's the picture of some kind of screamo band, whatever, and says, "This is the band that was playing at the Bataclan Theater. These people were listening to metal music and satanic music and doing all kinds of sinful things there and stuff like that." Which I'm not kidding. He says something along those lines. Look up the video. Which pissed off a lot of people. And the last one I remember him doing was, I believe a few days after the Pulse nightclub shooting, where 49 gay people were killed by Omar Mateen. And in this one, of course, Anderson does the same thing. Basically, more or less makes fun of the victims and says he's glad that they were murdered. And I sat there and watched that video and was like, what the fuck, man? Have you lost your goddamn mind? Which I believe he has. So, yeah. So I know I spent way much longer on that than I wanted to, but hey, this is going to be a whole episode on religion. So, yeah. So my point is, Pastor Steven Anderson, regardless of whether he's being serious with all of the crazy shit he says, or he's faking it to get more people in his church or whatever, or publicity, whether he's faking all of it or being honest, it's fucked up regardless. And it's going to get him in a world of shit. I guarantee it. And he doesn't care that he's basically telling his congregation to kill gay people. And that would be the kind of person, when one of his congregation goes out and kills a gay person or a black person or a whatever, or Muslim person or whatever, when one of his congregants goes out and actually kills somebody, the man will be going, You can't arrest me for this. I did not actually say, I did not tell one member of my congregation to go out and kill someone. I didn't. You cannot do anything to me. You can't prove it either. While they pull up his videos, and then he'll do all that crap. I didn't think anyone would actually go out and do something, okay? He'll do that kind of thing. I guarantee you, people have done it before. After the Pulse shooting. So enough on that guy. I don't want to give him any more publicity than he already has. So I'm going to move. Let's see. We have been going for, half an hour just on that alone. Which I'll talk more because I'm probably going to edit this. I'll probably have to edit this down a lot to make it shorter. So I'll probably cut some parts out and things like that. But I'll leave in my important parts. But I wanted to talk more, or at least for a like 10, maybe 5 more minutes or so on how there are probably quite a few how there are quite a few churches who twist the Bible to excuse their things. So I have, along with Steven Anderson, I have actually seen videos and things like that on churches whose pastors have basically more or less told their congregations to that have indirectly told their congregations to kill gay people. Yeah, I know that might sound just completely crazy. There's no way. There are religious leaders who have told. I am doing this more specifically on. This is all specifically on Christianity. More by the way, there are Christian leaders who have told their congregations or have said themselves that they would kill gay people. I'm not making this up. If you want an example, look up, what's his name? Dang. Jimmy Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart was his name, which I think he's still alive, but I believe, but I'm not sure. I believe Jimmy Swaggart is still alive. I'm not sure. Look up Jimmy or Pastor Jimmy Swaggart, who already did some bad shit in the 80s. Look that up. That's quite funny and stupid at the same time because I don't believe him for a second. But Jimmy Swaggart, in short, back in the 80s from what I read, was the pastor of quite a large church in bumfuck somewhere. But he would do sermons on why you shouldn't have sex before marriage. Prostitution is bad. Other stuff like that. And that's how he talked. Yes, I'm mocking him. But it basically got hypocritical because I think in 1987 or something like 88, 89 or something like that, in the late 80s, he was discovered having sex with a prostitute, which is illegal because that's basically prostitution, I believe. Or someone found out that he had sex with a prostitute. So they fired him from his church, kicked him out. Matter of fact, yeah. And then he did this whole, which I believe is quite possibly bullshitted. His last, speech, he said, I'm so sorry, Lord. I have sinned against you and my church. That whole thing. Cried, sobbed, begged for his church and everyone to forgive him, which I don't believe for a second. I believe he spent several days rehearsing that. But what I'm getting to is that the same pastor, Jimmy Swaggart, and this was what I watched from a documentary. I don't know where it was or when it was, but during some sermon, Swaggart claimed that if a gay person ever told Swaggart he was attracted to him, Swaggart would kill the gay person and tell God it was an accident. That's fucking murder, you old piece of shit. And if he does that, he will get arrested for it. If you kill, no matter who it is, if you kill someone for any reason, using I'm religious is not going to save your ass. You're still going to go to prison for a long fucking time. That's murder regardless of what reason you have for doing it. There is no reason that is possible to excuse murder. Sorry. But in my last bit on this, so in my last bit on that whole thing, I was going to, I want to say that that's what I don't like about some of the churches I've heard of is they spin the Bible to make up these crazy, crazy points and sermons and things like that. Which I don't like. I don't think that you should do that. And they, obviously, the whole anti-homosexuality kind of thing. Because, I will say it now, I support all forms of same-sex marriage, homosexuality, things like that. I am pro gay rights and things like that. I have no problem with homosexuality. I don't care. I have no problem with it. I support it because I have friends who are gay. Quite a few friends who are gay. So obviously I would support them. Duh. So, yes. And I don't particularly care. Yeah. So, yeah. That's why I am very vocal about that. So, the next thing I wanted to touch on was there are a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of, there are many churches that I would venture to say manipulate their congregations or try to pressure their congregations into accepting Jesus and all those things and Christian beliefs, which I have never had experience with. I, thankfully, because I like to do my research, I have gone to several churches. I have been inside several churches. But I will say that all of the churches I have been to have been sensible, normal churches. Especially the one that I currently attend, which is called Church of the Highlands in Birmingham, Alabama, because I live in Birmingham. I can obviously see why, and on that note, I can see why a lot of people don't like organized religion or churches because of the things I just spent the last 40 minutes talking about. But Church of the Highlands is, in my opinion, I go there for most of their services, which is another reason I like them. They don't overdo it on the services. Matter of fact, I think they have all of their services are on Sunday, obviously. They have a service every Sunday. And they do services on Wednesday, like every once a month and things. You can go ahead. I'll edit this out. I may not be able to do all of it today, but yeah, let's just edit this out. Won't take me but a few seconds. I hope this is focused in. I hope I get it focused in. I should have. I do manual focus. I figured out how to do the manual focus now, so it's a lot easier. Leave that in. Butt fuck. Butt fuck. Fuck me in the butt. Okay. Did you get your phone working?
Yeah, but the SIM card, I need to get a nano SIM card.
Oh yeah, that's what I had to do. That's what I had to do for mine.
Yeah, you just got it and then it worked? Or how'd you have to do it?
Because I needed, I think it was like a nano SIM card or something like that. And what I did was I went to Walmart, and in their little phone place they have little SIM card kits, and you can go up to the people that work at the little tables, and they'll show you how to.
Yeah.
I forgot how much they were. I think they're like $8 or $9, $5, $10.
And they just transfer all your stuff over.
But you can. Does your phone? Have you gotten to the menu of your phone? Have you gotten up the menu of your phone?
Yeah.
It may have like a data transfer.
Oh, okay.
If your phone has a data transfer option on there, you should be able to. What I did was, because my phone has one, and I just took my Asus phone and then that phone and no. Then it transferred all the stuff over. So you should be able to transfer everything.
Yeah.
If it has that feature. If not, they can probably do it for you.
Well, I meant it's like they transfer like the SIM card stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'll ask you if you want to keep your same number and stuff, and that's what I would do, just keep the same number. Yeah, they'll be able to help you. They'll be able to do all that for you. Yeah, you'll have to go to Walmart, though. So on the... But yes, and I'm not going to do this whole thing just to talk about my experience. But yes. So my experiences with organized religion and church have been quite good. And I should preface this by saying I only started going to through organized religion and churches probably 5 years ago. Or no, I take that back. 4 years ago, I would say. About 4 years ago. And my experiences have been good, especially Church of the Highlands, because they're all about normal. They're a normal, sensible church. Thank goodness. They're all about join this church if you want to, do whatever. No pressure. Join another church if you want to, or whatever. Matter of fact, I even liked at their Easter service, they give you an option of, what is it like? I want to learn more about Church of the Highlands and religion and stuff. And then the last option is, I don't care about any of this at all, which I like that they give you that option. I like that they'll let you circle that, and they don't judge you for it. They're not they're not the kind of people that, so they're a very non-manipulative, open kind of, or very non-manipulative, hey, we want all kinds of people here. That kind of thing. But there are churches that are very manipulative, more so the evangelist kind of churches. Because the evangelist kind of churches, aka the crazy motherfuckers, are the ones that you'll see do like the hand on your head. They'll put their hand on somebody's head and the person will go, "Look, may the demon leave you. This demon better leave you. You are healed by Jesus." Like you're having a goddamn seizure. It's like those people are having fucking seizures and shit. They'll act like they're being they act as if they're being cleared of demons and shit. As exampled by my very loud exaggeration. But yes, and obviously even I can tell it's fucking fake. whenever you see them put their hand on somebody's head and the person start like they're being exorcised, it's obviously fake. Hell, those kind of churches probably rehearse that shit for an entire week. Once again, I've only seen that kind of thing in the evangelist kind of churches. Those are also the ones that are I feel like the most fuck you, you're going to hell kind of places. Which I've not seen that yet, but so yeah. Those are the more manipulative and fake and things like that kind of churches, which obviously I don't agree with, and most people wouldn't agree with either. Don't manipulate people into following your own shit. Simple. All right, guys. So, if you notice my change of clothes and the lack of a windscreen on my microphone here, it's because I was in the middle of recording my podcast on Wednesday, because I usually record my podcast like a day before I release them, which is every Thursday. So I usually record my podcast on like Wednesday. So I recorded half of my podcast on Wednesday, and then I had some stuff come up. So I wasn't able to record and or finish the last bit to get it out yesterday. So that's why there was no episode yesterday. Apologies for that. And as of the lack of windscreen on my microphone and me day or two that I've missed, my cats partially ate part of my windscreen. My cats partially chewed up my windscreen. Or the little foam ball on my microphone. So I'm going to have to go get a new one. So I hope this last bit of the podcast isn't too like plosive and crackly and whatever. Hopefully it's not too like that. But regardless, let's get back to the task at hand, and that's religion. Now I have to remember where I left off, and try to. Oh yeah, I know. I was talking about how there are churches out there that manipulate their followers to give them more offerings when they do that, or push their message, or things like that. So, yeah. But I think my two biggest problems with, and I don't want people to think by this that I hate churches themselves, because like I said, I go to a church, so I don't obviously hate all of them. I'm just saying there are some of them that do sketchy things in order to promote their message. But on the topic of Christianity in general, which is what I'm referring to for this podcast episode, is the intolerance, the intolerance, I would say, that that I don't want to say many, because that makes it sound like there's a lot of them, but that a that I genuinely believe that that a number of people who are religious have. So, in reference to this, I'm talking about like evangelical Christianity, Baptist, to some extent. Of course, not all of them. I repeat, not all of them. But, yeah. But more so evangelicals, because, they're the ones that go to other countries and bring cameras along to show off the great work they're doing. And they're the ones that do the crazy televised sermons. The ones with, like I humorously reenacted earlier, where they shake and things like that. So, yeah. So, my main problems with, and so the things that I don't like about religion, and which is mostly that I think that all of the, once again, air quotes, religious people that are intolerant of other countries or other cultures or other religions, especially other religions, because those same people use the false gods or idolatry to excuse that, which doesn't make sense. I hope this whole thing makes sense. I know I'm talking about a lot of religious stuff, so a lot of this may not make much sense if you're not religious. But yeah, so my main problems with Christianity are the quite few of them that are homophobic, xenophobic, say crazy, offensive shit. Matter of fact, I saw one yesterday that I can't. It was Pat Robertson, the old fart that's the preacher or whatever, the guy who, of course, televises his shit. Pat Robertson, I think is his name, said something that, of course, obviously I didn't click on it because I didn't care to hear it, but he said something about the people who were killed in the Manchester attack, who were mostly children and teenagers. Look up the victim list. Said something like those people in the Manchester attack that died were inviting themselves for a terror attack. I'm assuming, once again, I didn't watch the video because I don't give a fuck to hear that kind of shit. But I'm assuming what he said was something about because they listened to Ariana Grande and this young lady's music promotes sex, underage sex, premarital sex, promoting kids to do crazy, unholy shit, things like that. I'm assuming that's what he said, but probably indirectly because no televangelist is going to. Most of them aren't going to directly say it the way that I reenacted, except for the Anderson guy. Except for him. Because he apparently doesn't give a shit about anything anymore. And for Pastor, whatever the fuck first name Anderson, every time I see something with, I can't believe I don't care that I forgot his first name. It's not, whatever. I'll look back and figure it out. For the Anderson guy, every time I hear his rhetoric and shit, all I think is You, sir, are a closeted homosexual person. Because that's the way I think. I think the man's just a homosexual person who hates the fact that he is gay that he yells against it, blah, 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 yells crazy shit. And that's that's what I believe. That's what I believe for a lot of those people that are that are so anti-homophobic that they threaten homosexual people and things like that. Those people are gay themselves, but either can't stand the fact that they're gay, or are afraid to say that they're gay, so they get all angry and blah, blah, blah and stuff. So, I think I've been talking for long enough on that. I think I've been talking long enough on the subject of Christianity. So this still might not be a very long one at all, which I was hoping to make it longer. And I could go into some other stuff, but so yeah, I don't like the main things that the main things I think that drive people away from Christianity, for those who are trying to get people to Christianity, or I think the reasons that Christianity is such a hated thing or reviled thing is not because of persecution. And those people are just as crazy as well. Christians being persecuted, but more so the people who say Christianity here in America is being persecuted. No, the fuck it isn't. What about those, what are they? What about the Yazidi people in Iraq? Or the Kurdish people of Iraq? Or is it the Yazidis? What about the Yazidi people of Iraq? The Yazidi people of Iraq, I believe, are Christian. I believe. What about, and they were the ones who are basically being fucking slaughtered by ISIS right now in Iraq and Syria. Where do you think most of their victims came from? So don't talk about persecution here in the U.S. You bunch of old, wrinkly white motherfuckers don't know the meaning of the word persecution. And you're all too... And I'm talking to those people specifically. You people. And, yeah. I'm going to talk to the people who are claiming that Christianity is being persecuted here in the U.S. You old, wrinkly motherfuckers don't know the meaning of the word persecution. Have you ever heard of the Yazidi people of Iraq? Who do you think ISIS started out killing? The Yazidi people. Those are the people they've been slaughtering for the past 3 years. Look it up. Oh, wait. You kind of people won't look it up. Because learning stuff's gay. Learning about shit's gay. And I guarantee you there are people who have actually said that. Which is another thing about Christianity that irks me. There's this, which I agree with a lot of other people on the topic. There's this anti-intellectual kind of thing. Anti-learning is what I would call it in layman's terms. Because those kind of people are the ones that's why they're so ignorant. Because they refuse to learn about anything. like which I'm not sure what kind of people those were, but like the incident down in somewhere in bumfuck Louisiana, where a bunch of townspeople saw a sign in Hebrew that was basically saying "Welcome home, some U.S. soldier," because the U.S. soldier, it was some welcome home sign for a U.S. soldier who was Jewish, and it was in Hebrew. I guess maybe the guy who was the soldier only spoke Hebrew, maybe? Not sure, but the non-Jewish townspeople thought the sign was in Arabic. And even I know the difference between Hebrew and Arabic. Put Arabic and Hebrew side to side, and there's, of course, a noticeable fucking difference. How do you confuse Hebrew and Arabic as the same fucking thing? Unless you're just fucking stupid. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Uneducated, don't care about learning about anything because it's not Christian, not in the Lord's plan, and all that kind of stuff. So, I think I've been talking long enough on this. I think I've made my points. And I know I pretty much made fun of this whole kind of thing. But before anybody freaks out, unless you're, once again, stupid, you'll obviously be able to tell that I don't hate religion. I'm obviously just making fun of it. So, that being said, I don't hate religion, so nobody freak out. I don't hate Christianity, obviously, as I consider myself one, just not to the extent that would normally be defined. I'm still not sure what I label myself, even though I'm 22. But yes, I don't hate Christianity. I'm not anti-religion. I'm just trying to show the things that are wrong with Christianity. Because obviously, Christianity itself is not perfect. So, yeah. So, before anybody freaks out and puts this on Reddit or the New York Post or the Sun or wherever the fuck, I don't hate religion. I'm not anti-religion. I'm not anti-Christian. I don't hate Christianity. Anything like that. If you're smart, you'll be able to see, hopefully, the points that I'm trying to make. And one more thing before I end, just to explain my whole view on the anti-homosexuality kind of thing, or homophobia thing. So what I would say, my thought is on the homophobic religious people, that basically nullifies their arguments. Like after the Hodges-Obergefell ruling, the Supreme Court ruling in 2015 like after let me rephrase it. And I wanted to say something else what is my opinion on when people say God doesn't like homosexuality. My whole response to that would be, and specifically people who are still upset about the Hodges-Obergefell ruling in about 2 years ago this month. I believe it'll be June 26th when it happened, 2 years ago, which I believe it was because I remember it. Here's my thing. So here's my overall total done with it viewpoint. if God is as powerful as we say, or as they say in Christianity, if he's as powerful as the Bible says and Christianity says, and he can do pretty much whatever the fuck he wants to anyone, if God truly did hate every single thing we're doing right now, which in this case I'm referring to things that may look like homosexuality, premarital sex, this abstinence only bullshit. If God was truly angry at us for all of the sins that we commit, like homosexuality or sex before marriage or whatever that shit, any of that shit, then if he was that angry at us, as people claimed, like after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in June 2015 on gay marriage, if he was that fucking angry with us, wouldn't he have already just fucking killed all of us? Wouldn't he have all struck us all fucking dead? And nothing has happened. See? Nothing. See? Nothing. If God hated all of the shit that people say he hates, and they claim they have proof, then why hasn't he killed fucking all of us? Answer me that. And that leads me to my viewpoint that God, which normal people would think, is that God loves everyone. And I truly believe that. Regardless of what race you are, what religion you are, or whatever the fuck you've done. Maybe aside from murder and rape. I think those people might have a tougher time wherever they go. But yes. So that's my final viewpoint. I hope this entire thing made sense. And hope you guys understood the points that I was trying to make. And if anybody wants to get angry at this entire episode for what I talked about, go ahead. People are anyway. But regardless of that, once again, apologies for not getting this out yesterday on Thursday. I'm recording this on a Friday, by the way. It's Friday right now. It's more so for you guys on SoundCloud, because on YouTube, I usually post the podcasts like Saturday or Sunday. So I'll still post the podcast probably tomorrow on YouTube, but I will be posting it today on SoundCloud. So, hope you guys understand. Hope the audio wasn't too messed up this last bit. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, there are 4 other episodes you guys can check out of the Unnamed Podcast. And you guys on SoundCloud can like this track if you enjoyed it. And things like that. And you guys on YouTube can like the video, comment on the video, dislike the video, comment all of the hate shit that I'll probably get from this video, which I'm surprised I literally haven't gotten any hate comments. Ever. Except for one. I've gotten one hate comment. That was somebody doing some weird fake threat. Probably some stupid 11-year-old. But regardless, hope you guys like this episode and the podcast in general. And I'll see you guys in next week's episode. Bye, guys.